To all distinguished guests from our national and international co-hosts, invited guests, presenters, and to all those watching this event through our Facebook Live or through MS Teams, a pleasant good morning. Today is Friday, the 25th of June, 2021. I am Dr. Chiara Lamarca, your main host. With me today is Dr. Jonathan Carion, my co-host. Good morning, Dr. Carion.
Good morning, Dr. Lamarca. We are now live on Facebook and MS Teams. We have viewers from all over the world. Good morning, Thailand. Good morning, Philippines. Good morning, Indonesia. And good morning, world. Good morning to our audience around the world. Welcome to
the 8th Hosheo University
National and International Academic Conference with our theme, Research to Serve Society.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thanks to the Hosheo University for inviting me to this conference this year again. I was here 2 years ago to give a keynote talk on the research for the community and society, which is the answer to economic-based problem, reflects the future of the country. This year, due to the COVID-19, I'm not able to be here as a face-to-face meeting, but I'm here online to give a special note on BCG towards sustainable community development. This clearly states that Hosheo University aims towards the sustainable development of the community and will be an essential part of the country development, which is a good example that a higher education institute should be. The idea on the BCG model was proposed by a group of researchers and policy makers and was supported by Dr. Sufficiency, the former Minister of Science and Technology, which later has been transformed to the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research, and Innovation. From the beginning, he proposed that there are 4 drivers and 4 enablers to make this model successful. The 4 drivers model that you talk about are categorized into 4 parts. The first one is the sector development. The second one focuses on talent development. The third driver is the area development of each region. And finally, the knowledge creation. The 4 enablers that he proposed are regulatory framework, facility and infrastructure development, capacity building, and global network. I will give you more information about these drivers and enablers later on. You may have heard about BCG before, but anyway, I would like to give you more details about this. Starting from the bioeconomy, one may ask, what is it? The European Commission gives the definition of bioeconomy as the production of renewable biological resources and the conversion of these resources and waste into value-added products. These include food, feed, bio-based products, and bioenergy. To be more precise, we can use the term Biobase Economy, which means that we may utilize the bioresources in the country to produce more income to our people. We may focus on the utilization and improvement of genetic resources, such as fragrant rice. For example, the most famous one is the jasmine rice that you may know. The development of crop management to reduce the use of pesticides, for example. The development of biopesticides, biocontrol, and integrated pest management to reduce the health risk. Since the future food trend may be focused on health food, so we may also emphasize on the natural products that promote health. These include functional food and functional ingredients, spices and herbs, which are plenty in Thailand. And finally, the development of value-added products for premium market, which may gain more profit than the export of primary products as usual. In Thailand, the bioeconomy may focus on agriculture, food, health, tourism, and energy. The vision of bioeconomy of the government of Thailand on agriculture is to modernize agriculture by adding value to raw materials from farmers' fields. This addition in the government's view can help Thailand overcome the middle income trap, in which countries reach middle income status for quite a long time, but cannot generate further income to reach upper income status. Thailand is also promoting the circular economy as an alternative economic approach for creating greater value at different levels within production and consumption processes. This may cover the use of natural resources efficiently with high return and reduce waste to near zero or towards the zero waste goal. Also, the loss reduction along the production lines reduce any risk to the environment. In the former day, we use the concept of linear economy, which means that any product once has been used, it will be ended up in a garbage bin. This may create a lot of garbage to be destroyed each day and become a big problem for any big city. Recently, the concept of recycling has been used for a while. Some products may be able to use several times before they ended up in the garbage can. Anyway, this concept still produces a lot of waste. Now, the concept of circular economy is believed to be the best way to utilize any products efficiently and may be leading to the zero waste goal. Under this concept, the product will be utilized many times in a different form until the end of life cycle. This concept produces least waste as compared to the others and may lead to the zero waste concept at last. That's why the concept has been widely adopted all over the world and will become a trade barrier in the future. Thailand also adopts this concept as a part of BCG to drive the economic growth, and I think we are on the right direction. Under the circular economy concept, the raw materials will be utilized until they reach the point of unacceptable or not able to be used anymore. Then they will go to the final step, like the incineration to transform waste to energy. But before they reach this point, there are many steps before, such as rethink, redesign, reduce, reuse, recycle, and so on. It means that the materials will be used many times in a different form. This concept should be thinking as a holistic approach because sometimes it's just like a problem shifting. For example, the promotion of an EV or electric vehicles. The car itself does not produce any carbon dioxide or other toxic gas from the combustion. But you may notice that you have to charge the EV batteries at home every day. The electricity that has been used for the EV comes from the power plant that produce electricity using fossil fuel as usual. The power plant itself emits toxic gas and PM 2.5 to the environment instead. That's why we call such example as a problem shifting. The problem is still there and has been unsolved. Similar example that you may encounter recently is the promotion of the use of fabric bag for the substitution of plastic bag. Some study reveal that the process of a fabric bag production may utilize more energy, and by the end of life cycle, it will create more problem than the plastic bag. Now, let's talk about green economy. The development of the bioeconomy involves environmental concern, including land and water scarcity. Green economy determines to keep economy, society, and the environment in balance, leading to sustainable development. On the other hand, the concept of green economy may involve directly to the sustainable development. Under this concept, the production should be clean and least affect to environment. Also, it should be clean enough and safe for human consumption. This means that the application of pesticides in agriculture should be reduced. The modern technology that has been introduced to the agricultural production is the protected crop or even plant factory in the future. And the application of precision agriculture concept to reduce the use of natural resources. The modern trade barrier that we have heard today is the carbon footprint and water footprint. Some countries require the clearly notification of these footprints on their products to be sold in the market, and the consumers will make their own decision. The national policy in 2019 clearly focused on BCG model as a new sustainable growth engine. One may ask that, should we focus on each engine separately? The answer is no. This model integrates three economic concepts together as one, so-called bioeconomy, circular economy, and green economy. This model brings together science, technology, and innovation to increase competitiveness and sustainability of four major industries. These are food and agriculture industry, energy and material, including biochemicals industry, health and medicine, and tourism. It is believed that BCG model will enable Sustainable Development Goals, or SDG, through the promotion of sustainable agriculture, clean energy, and responsible consumption and production, ensuring the conservation and sustainable utilization of biodiversity, and protecting environment and ecosystem. Since we have three different terms, that is bioeconomy, circular economy, and green economy, but usually we do not use these terms separately, but likely to call BCG model, which may cover all these three, and all of them are related to each other. As I mentioned before, that Dr. Sweet Mesinsi is the one who introduced the BCG concept to the government, and he proposed the four main areas to be developed based on the strength and opportunity of the country. The first one is the area of food and agriculture. Because there are a lot of people involved in the business, 12 million people working in agricultural sector, and interestingly, more than 90% of agricultural land usage limited to only 6 major crops. Those are rice, sugarcane, cassava, rubber, oil palm, and corn. Even though we are the major exporter of those crops, but we cannot control the price. That's why the income of the farmers is low, and the government has to have several measures to overcome the price problem, including various forms of subsidiary. Another problem is the rapid deterioration of natural resources, such as soil quality, pesticide residue, for example. The second area that is very interesting is the medical and wellness. This is one of our strengths because we have a very good facilities for health services. But anyway, we have to import 100 billion baht of medicine and pharmaceutical products and also medical devices. Thailand has to spend more than 1.4 trillion baht for health care of the senior people. That's why we need to solve this and try to introduce the BCG model to overcome the problem. In the area of energy and material, we have to import about 60% of energy for domestic consumption, and only 15.5% of the domestic energy production come from renewable energy. This may lead to the insecurity of energy consumption and need to be reduced the import energy. Finally, the tourism and creative economy. This is very interesting because tourism produces income about 3 trillion baht, and Thailand has been ranking number 4 in the world in this area. But the problem is only a few provinces that attract tourists. The challenge is how to distribute the tourists to another provinces. The problem today is the over-tourism in some area, where the number of tourists exceeds the carrying capacity and leading to the natural resources deterioration. This means 4 areas of development are important, and if we can overcome the problem and, on the other hand, use the strength of each area, we may create a lot of income and may reach the goal of the poverty reduction. That's why the government has tried every measure and focus on this as a main strategy. Now, let's see it in detail. The first BCG model that I would like to mention is the model in food and agriculture sector, which involves a lot of people. Our goal is to produce the premium agricultural products. To be achieved this, there are many strategies involved. We propose to have a Thai GAP or Thai Good Agricultural Practices as a tool. In the process, we need to have smart farmers and try to produce high-value crop in the closed system or smart greenhouse and the application of precision farming. For the precision farming technology, we may have a good decision-making system based on market and area, which some data come from the satellite imaging to manage and monitor the crop. New economic crop and livestock should be also considered. This is a good example that to solve a big problem such like this, an integration of technologies and strategy should be seriously considered. In the second model of development is the BCG model in energy, material and biochemical sector. The first model is the conversion of waste into energy and material, including high-value product. This challenge is very tough and not easy to be achieved, but we have to try. Some existing technology that has been used for a while now, such as the conversion of farm manure to biogas and finally produce electricity. The use of pineapple peel from the pineapple factory as a feed for cattle. Anyway, there are so many wastes in our industry that are waiting to be utilized. The measure that the government tried to apply, such as the promotion of biomass power plant, biorefinery pilot plant, and hydrogen power plant. These are the good example of the investment production through the government agency, such as the BOI or the National Board of Investment. The model of industrial development, such as the development of ethanol as a good source of energy to substitute petroleum. The development of biodiesel technology, that's a good example. Both of these two technologies aim to reduce the utilization of fossil fuel, which may lead to a clean and green environment. Another product that draws attention to all is the bioplastic, and also including biochemicals. The cost of bioplastic production is still high, so it can't beat the regular plastic now. Anyway, the government tried to restrict the use of normal plastic in everyday life. This is a good opportunity for a rapid development of bioplastic, which may lead to a comparable cost of production in the near future. Now, this model involves our daily life and wellness. The BCG model in medical and wellness sector aims towards the modern technology in health science. The advancement of these technologies are gene therapy, vaccine and biosimilar, medical equipment, and so on. In the future, when we may have a personalized treatment which is specific to individual genomic data. New medicines from herbs and medicinal plants will be produced and proved by clinical research, for example. This sector aims to develop sustainable tourism destination management system, conserve the environment, and link tourism with other service industries in order to advance to high-quality tourism, such as wellness tourism, culinary tourism, ecotourism, cultural tourism, and sports tourism. Thai tourism industry can benefit from the policy to promote secondary cities and communities as new tourist destinations. Technology and innovation will be applied to create and upgrade infrastructure and a digital platform to improve tourist convenience and experience and advance the industry to high-quality tourism. Science and technology will be employed to define national guidelines for tourism, for example, carrying capacity, support sustainable tourism standard system, and conserve and rehabilitate the environment. Under the creative economy concept, tourism can be linked to other service industries to target niche markets such as wellness tourism, culinary tourism, ecotourism, cultural tourism, and sport tourism. The Bcg drivers divided into 4 categories. The first one is the development strategic area, which has 4 main themes. That is food and agriculture, health and medicine, energy and materials, and tourism and creative economy. The second driver is the area-based development. This may be divided into 4 regions with specific focus of each area. The Northern Economic Corridor, or NEC. The focus of NEC will be on food safety and agricultural health standards, agro-industry, and food processing, and the integration of a Lanna culture into the products and services. Northeastern Economic Corridor, or NEEC, focus on resolving major health issues inherent to this region, such as liver fluke, promote insect farming for an alternative protein source, and developing cultural tourism along the Mekong riverbank. The third region is the Eastern Economic Corridor, or EEC. The development in this region will focus on fruit production and the development of future industries. And lastly, the Southern Economic Corridor, or SEC. This area will focus on precision aquaculture, innovative halal food products, and development of new tourist destinations. The next driver is the talent and entrepreneur development, such as BCG startup, smart farmers, for example. And the last driver is technology development and frontier research. This driver focuses on research and high technology development, such as terahertz technology, advanced digital platform, gene editing, and synthetic biology, for example. A regulatory sandbox is a framework set up by a regulator that allows startups and other innovators to conduct life experiments in a controlled environment under a regulator's supervision. This enabler aims at reviewing and making an amendment to laws and regulations in order to build out an innovation ecosystem, support technology sandbox, and enable product life cycle assessment. When we talk about life cycle assessment or LCA, which is also known as a life cycle analysis, I would like to explain that LCA is a methodology for assessing environmental impact associated with all the stages of the life cycle of a commercial product, process, or service. For instance, in the case of a manufactured product, environmental impacts are assessed from raw material extraction and processing through the product's manufacture, distribution, and use to the recycling or final disposal of the materials composing it. Invention Ownership Law. This aspect is very interesting, and to make it easy to understand, sometimes we call Thai Bayh-Dole Act. The Bayh-Dole Act has long been known in the USA as an innovation-driven economies tool. The Bayh-Dole Act allowed university, research institute, and business that receive government funding to own the patent of an invention, thus allowing university and research institutes to license this out or to establish spin-off around those high-tech inventions. This is partly due to the limitation of existing law that assigns the ownership of inventions made under public research fund to the government funding agencies, which restrict the licensing policy. Thailand has passed this act recently and hope that the patents and new technologies that have been developed by the researchers and in the university or research institutes will be utilized more. Bcg infrastructure and facility development. The following facilities will be developed and supported, such as the biobank, national quality infrastructure, and pilot plant and demonstration plants, for example. The capacity building. This enabler aims at developing manpower in various fields and at all levels of students to the current workforce. The fields that will be in demand in BCG model include taxonomy, system biology, bioinformatics, life science, computer engineering, and data science. BCG Global Network collaboration with international partners will be developed in the form of research collaboration, technology demonstration, technology localization, or joint investment. The investment on 5 major facilities were launched recently. The National Biobank under the National Science and Technology Development Agency has been set up to collect, preserve, and utilize the bioresources in various aspects. The second one is the Genomic Thailand, which focuses on Thai genomes study for Thai people health. The regional science park may enhance local economic growth through innovation in each region. This facility works closely with local universities throughout the country. Big data development, such as AgriMap, which focus on the information technology on agricultural decision support system. For example, the farmers can use this data before making decisions about which is the best crop to grow in their area. The program may use the current location and match the soil type and show the alternative crops that is suitable for that area, and also calculate the yield and income if they grow that crop in that area. The last investment is the biorefinery pilot plant that aim to transform waste into value-added product. The concept of inclusive growth, which aim to reduce the inequity, is applied based on the sustainable area development. We divide the areas to be developed into 5 regions, that is North, South, Northeast, East, and Central. Each region has a specific target of development based on their strength and opportunity. In the North, we may focus on rice innovation, not only the main rice production area, but also for value-added products development. North region is also a main food production area, so it will focus on food safety, especially for export. Famous tourist spots are located throughout the northern region, especially the natural and cultural resources. So the promotion of health and culture tourism is one of the targets. Also, the northern region possesses a rich history and culture, so the local culture for services and products development will emphasize. In the south, where culture and natural resources are different, tourism is also the main theme, but with a different approach. Southern Thailand possesses a long coastal area, so aquaculture innovation will be highlighted. The richness of southern cultural heritage will be a good asset for creative economy for such area development. Halal food and innovation and precision agriculture are also important and has been put in the developmental plan. Northeastern area has a main problem on drought and food security, especially the lack of high quality protein source. To overcome this, the new protein sources from insect and watershed management will be urgently developed. And again, tourism is a national agenda, so the cultural tourism along Mekong River will be focused. In the east, where it is the major area of fruit production like durian and mangosteen, which produce a lot of national income today. The development in this area will be focused on the fruit development and also tourism, because this area has long coastal area and rich natural resources. The Eastern Economic Corridor is also located in this area. So the future industry development is important in this area too. The last one is the central part of Thailand. This area is including Bangkok, which can be called the melting pot, because a lot of people from different countries and cultures gather around in this area. This may lead to a problem of overcrowded city and create problems of urban environment such as garbage management, water and air pollution, for example. The main theme of the development of the central area is the garbage-free Thailand and active aging projects. This may relieve the problem that is becoming more serious in the future. In every strategy, there should be a target and process or measures. BCGs also set target into 4 categories as a strategic target. We aim to leverage GDP from 3.4 million baht to 4.4 million baht target to increase high quality labor force from 16.5 million to 20 million, and change the benefit sharing from all for one to one for all. Let me explain this. Today, those rich people and big companies take advantage and gain more and more, while the small business and community have less chance to access to these opportunities. This is an urgent issue for the government to reduce the inequity. The last one is a change of growth mechanism from market power to people power. The principle of the Sufficiency Economy philosophy, or SEP, was promoted by the late King Bhumibol Adulyadej, has underpinned many of Thailand's development strategies since 2002. This principle promotes moderation, reasonableness, and resilience, aligning with the bioeconomy's goals of efficient resource use. The philosophy also emphasizes on social equity and environmental aspects, such as sustainability and resilience in development, to improve the well-being and welfare of citizens. This philosophy is now being adopted by the United Nations and incorporated in the SDGs development goal already. The vision of the Thai government is also focused on the use of the nation's internal strength and link to the world. Lastly, the concept of inclusive growth or no one left behind is still valid. Finally, when we talk about sustainability, it is not possible to avoid or neglect the SDGs or the Sustainable Development Goals. As you may know, these goals have been developed and accepted by the United Nations almost 10 years ago. Thailand also adopted these goals as a part of National Development Plan. This year, Thailand is ranking number 43 out of the 165 countries all over the world and is the first among Southeast Asian countries. The BCG model that I mentioned before is also following the goals towards sustainability. It is worth to note that the SEP, or the Sufficiency Economy philosophy by the late King Bhumibol, is also the key success to the sustainability. BCG model is a combination of both SDGs and SEP as the main driver towards the success. We hope that the SDG dashboards and trends that the UN report to public yearly will be a good indication of the success of the country development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Peeradet Tongumpai, for that highly informative talk on BCG. Ladies and gentlemen, let me summarize the keynote speech of Associate Professor Dr. Peeradet. So we heard he talked about BCG in energy, material models, and biochemical sector, particularly on agricultural products and waste, investment promotion, industrial development. And then he went on discussing about BCG model in the medical and wellness sector, particularly, or for example, he mentioned about gene therapy vaccine, which is very useful at this moment that we have the pandemic, as well as biosimilar. Then he also discussed about BCG model in tourism and creative economy sector. And as he mentioned, we are looking at, or we should aim for, high quality tourism. And through the BCG model in tourism and creative economy sector, we can start preparing national guidelines and standards, as well as we can start promoting creativity in tourism, as well as in the wellness sector. Then we moved on to the Bcg drivers. So here he discussed about the development strategic areas taken, as well as the entrepreneur development, as well as area-based technological development and frontier research, which are necessary drivers of or for Bcg. Then he also discussed several or expanded on Bcg enablers, how to have some kind of Bcg investment. And of course, in the end, he discussed about how Bcg can have what we call inclusive growth, wherein there is no one that is left behind. So overall, thank you once again, Associate Professor Dr. Peeradet Tongumpai, for that highly informative talk, and particularly on the application of Bcg to decision making by government and non-government sectors, as well as the various industries, okay, and for its application as the main growth engine. Once again, on behalf of Bcg Drivers University, thank you very much.